Commander Hyun-woo Park stared at the screens in front of him. The Luna Station control room was quiet, except for the soft hum of computers. He had been watching space for 20 years, but he had never seen anything like this. "Sir, you need to look at this," said Dr. So-Young Kim. She was the best language expert on Earth. Her hands moved quickly over her keyboard. "These signals are not random. Someone is trying to talk to us." Hyun-woo walked over to her station. The screens showed waves of data coming from deep space. The patterns were too clean to be natural, too organized to be from a machine. "How long have you been getting these?" he asked. 3 hours now. They started near Jupiter. The signals are getting stronger." So-Young's voice was excited but scared. "Sir, I think someone is coming here." Hyun-woo felt cold. In all his years of watching space, this was what everyone feared and hoped for. First contact, real aliens. He picked up his phone and called Earth. "Get me President Jin-Ho Baek, right now." On Earth, alarms were ringing in every government building. President Baek sat in a meeting room with his top people. Everyone looked worried. "How sure are we?" the president asked. "Very sure," said intelligence. Director Hye-won Seo. "Our deep space sensors show large objects moving toward Earth. They are bigger than anything we have ever built." "How many?" 12 ships. Each one is the size of a city." The room went quiet. Everyone knew what this meant. After thousands of years of wondering if humans were alone, they finally had their answer. Captain Dong-Hyun Lee was on his ship when the call came. The Soul's Pride was Earth's newest and strongest warship. It was hidden behind the moon, along with 50 other ships that most people did not know about. "Captain Lee, prepare your ship," the voice said. "We may need you soon." Dong-Hyun looked out at the stars. Somewhere out there, alien ships were coming to Earth. He had trained for this day his whole life. But training was different from the real thing. "All hands, prepare for contact," he said over the ship's radio. "This is not a drill." Near Jupiter, space began to change. The air itself seemed to bend and twist. Then, slowly, 12 huge ships appeared. They looked like they were made of crystal and light. They were beautiful and scary at the same time. The biggest ship moved forward. It was 3 times larger than the others. Lights danced along its surface like electricity. Inside the ship, Fleet Admiral Thane Corvex stood in his command center. He was tall and thin, with skin that looked like glass. His 4 arms moved as he gave orders to his crew. "Send the message to all human communication systems," he said. His voice was smooth and calm. "Let them know we come in peace." Across Earth, every radio, television, and computer suddenly carried the same message. The voice spoke perfect English, but it sounded strange. Too perfect. Like a machine trying to be human. "People of Earth, do not be afraid. We are the Valathi Empire, representatives of the Galactic Confederation. We come to welcome you to the greater community of intelligent life." In homes and offices around the world, people stopped what they were doing. Some ran. Some cried. Others just stared at their screens in shock. "Your species has been observed and found ready for contact. We invite your leaders to meet with us and discuss Earth's place in the galaxy." President Bayek watched the message with his team. His face was calm, but his hands were shaking. "Send a reply," he said. "Tell them we accept their invitation to talk." Back on Luna Station, Hyun-woo watched as more alien ships appeared around Jupiter. They moved in perfect formation, like they had done this many times before. "Sir," said So-Young, "they are sending more messages. Technical data about their ships, their weapons, their shields. They want us to know how powerful they are." Hyun-woo studied the data. The alien ships were impressive. Their energy shields could stop any weapon Earth had. Their power sources produced more energy than Earth's sun. Their technology was thousands of years ahead of human science, but something bothered him. Why show all this to a new species? Why reveal so much about their capabilities? "They want us to be scared," he said quietly. "What do you mean?" So-Young asked. "Look at this data. They could have just told us they were powerful. Instead, they showed us exactly how their systems work. They want us to know we cannot fight them." On the Soul's Pride, Captain Lee was thinking the same thing. His crew had studied the alien ship designs. They were beautiful, but something felt wrong. "Sir," said his weapons officer, Lieutenant Min Soo-han, "their ships are made for show, Not for war. Explain. Look at the hull design. Those crystal surfaces look amazing, but they would break easily under attack. And their ship formation. It is perfect for parades, terrible for battle. Lee frowned. Are you saying they are not as dangerous as they look? I am saying they do not think like soldiers, sir. They think like people who have never had to fight for their lives. Admiral Corvex waited for Earth's reply. Around him, his bridge crew worked quietly. They were efficient and calm. This was routine for them. They had done this 46 times before with other species. Admiral, said his communications officer, Earth has responded. They agree to meet. Good. Send them coordinates for a neutral location. One of their moons should work. Sir, should we scan their military capabilities? Corvax waved one of his hands. Why? They just learned to leave their home planet. They probably have a few small ships for moving between worlds, nothing that could threaten us. But he was wrong. In the asteroid belt between Mars and Jupiter, human ships were moving. Not the small exploration vessels the aliens expected, but real warships. Ships designed for destruction. Colonel Wu Jin Han commanded the hidden fleet from his flagship. He had been watching the alien arrival through hidden sensors. Do we engage? Asked his second-in-command. No, but be ready. Something about this feels like a trap. The alien message had been friendly, but Han had fought in enough wars to know that words could lie. Actions told the truth, and the aliens' actions said they were used to being in control. Back on Earth, Dr. Su-Jin Yang was studying videos of the alien ships. As Earth's best expert on psychology, she wanted to understand how these beings thought. They move like they own the galaxy, she told her team. Look at how their ships are positioned. They are not defending themselves. They are showing off. Is that bad? Asked her assistant. It means they have never met anyone who could hurt them. They think all other species are weak. As the hours passed, both sides prepared for their meeting. The aliens saw this as a standard first contact, another primitive species to add to their collection. The humans saw it as the most important moment in their history, but neither side knew the whole truth yet. The aliens did not know that humans had been preparing for this meeting for decades, and the humans did not know that they were about to meet the most peaceful civilization in the galaxy. On Luna Station, Hyunwoo received one final message from the alien fleet. It was a formal invitation to send representatives to discuss Earth's integration into galactic society. The word integration bothered him. It sounded like the aliens had already decided what would happen to Earth. He looked out at the stars and wondered if humanity was about to lose its freedom before it even knew what freedom in space really meant. The alien ships waited in the darkness, beautiful and patient. Soon they would learn that they had made the biggest mistake in galactic history. They had assumed that all intelligent species were like them. They were about to meet humanity. Dr. Jae-min Choi had never been on a spaceship before. The human transport ship felt small and simple compared to the alien vessel waiting for them. Through the window, he could see the Valathi ship growing larger as they approached. It looks like a floating palace, said diplomat Yoon-ji Nam. She sat across from him, trying to look calm, but Jaemin could see her hands were tight on her seat. Colonel Wu Jin Han sat in the back, watching everything. He was the military observer for this mission. His job was to learn about alien weapons and defenses. So far, what he had seen worried him. Their ship has no armor, he said quietly. Just those crystal walls, beautiful, but weak. The alien ship was huge. As their small transport entered its landing bay, Jaemin felt like an ant crawling into a cathedral. Everything was made of smooth, glowing crystal. Lights moved through the walls like living things. Admiral Corvex was waiting for them. He was even taller than the videos had shown. His 4 arms moved gracefully as he welcomed them. Greetings, representatives of Earth, he said. His voice echoed in the large space. I am Fleet Admiral Thane Corvex. Welcome to the Celestial Grace, Yoonji stepped forward. Thank you for meeting with us. I am Yoon-ji Nam, speaking for Earth's government. And I am Dr. Jae-min Choi, said the scientist. I study other cultures. I hope to learn about yours. Colonel Han said nothing. He just watched and remembered everything he saw. Korvax led them through the ship. The corridors were wide and bright. Alien crew members moved past them, all tall and graceful like their admiral. None of them looked dangerous. They looked more like artists than soldiers. "Your ship is beautiful," said Yunji. "Thank you. The Velothi have always believed that function and beauty should work together. Why make something ugly when you can? Make it beautiful?" They entered a meeting room with walls made of clear crystal. Outside, Jamin could see space and stars. It was amazing, but he noticed something strange. There were no weapons visible anywhere on the ship. "Admiral," he said, "how do you defend yourself?" Korvax looked confused. "Defend? From what?" "From enemies. From pirates. From other species who might attack you." "Oh, that." Korvax waved one hand. "We have not had any real conflicts in over 1,000 years. The Confederation maintains peace through cooperation and trade. Violence is old-fashioned." Colonel Han's eyes went wide. 1,000 years without war? That was impossible. Every species fought sometimes. It was basic survival. Korvax showed them images of the galaxy. 47 star systems, all connected by trade routes and communication networks. Hundreds of species working together in peace. Each species has its role, Korvax explained. The Zephyri handle long-distance communication because they can think faster than light. The molten cores mine asteroids because they can survive in extreme heat. The ethereals manage energy distribution because they can see electromagnetic fields. "What would be humanity's role?" asked Yunji. "We are still deciding. Perhaps manufacturing. Your species seems good at making things." Jamin felt insulted. Manufacturing? Like humans were just another tool to be used? What if we wanted a different role? He asked. Korvax looked surprised. Different? But this is how the system works. Each species does what it does best. Everyone benefits. "What if a species does not want to join?" asked Colonel Han. The question seemed to confuse Korvax. Not want to join? But why would they not want to? The Confederation offers protection, trade, technology, knowledge. No species has ever refused. Because they had no choice, Han thought. But he did not say it out loud. They traveled for 3 days to reach Nexus Prime, the capital of the Confederation. The journey took them through established space lanes, past monitoring stations and defensive grids. But Han noticed that the defenses were weak. They were designed to watch, not to fight. Nexus Prime was an artificial planet, built around a small star. Millions of beings lived there representing dozens of different species. It should have been impressive. Instead, it looked like a giant shopping mall. Peaceful, said Yunji. Boring, thought Han. They were taken to the Grand Assembly Hall, a massive dome that could hold 1 million beings. Representatives from all 47 member species were there to welcome Earth. Supreme Chancellor Vex Torin stood at the center. He was even bigger than Admiral Korvax, with thick gray skin and 4 massive arms. When he spoke, his voice filled the entire hall. Welcome, people of Earth, to the Galactic Confederation. Today, we add the 48th member to our great family. The crowd cheered. Lights flashed. Music played. It was like a carnival, not a serious government meeting. Earth will be given Territory Designation 48, the Chancellor continued. A beautiful system on the outer rim, perfect for a species still learning to use advanced technology. Jamin did not like the sound of that. Still learning? He had spent his life studying human achievements. Humans had split the atom, built computers, traveled to other planets. They were not children. After the ceremony, they were shown to their assigned quarters. The rooms were comfortable but small. Everything was designed to make them feel like visitors, not equals. That night, Jamin could not sleep. He kept thinking about what he had seen. The aliens were advanced, yes, but they were also naive. They thought every species would be happy, to serve in their perfect system. Colonel Han was awake too. He was writing a report for Earth's military command. What he had to say would shock them. The Confederation military is weak, he wrote. Their ships are beautiful but fragile. Their crew are scientists and artists, not soldiers. They have no experience with real war. Their formations are perfect for parades but terrible for battle. Their weapons are designed to disable, not destroy. They think of conflict as a problem, to be solved through discussion. Most important, they assume all species think like them. They cannot imagine a species that prefers war to peace or freedom to security. He stopped writing and looked out at the stars. Somewhere out there was Earth, with its hidden fleets and secret weapons. The aliens thought they were welcoming a weak new species into their family. They had no idea they had just invited a wolf into their flock of sheep. The next morning, Yunji had a private meeting with Chancellor Toran. She was polite and friendly, asking questions about trade and technology transfer, but she was also gathering intelligence. How many ships did the Confederation have? How were their military units organized? What were their standard response procedures? For threats? You ask many questions about our defenses, noted the Chancellor. We want to understand how we can contribute to galactic security. Yunji lied smoothly. Security? Toran laughed. My dear, we have not needed military security in centuries. Economic cooperation has eliminated the need for violence. But surely you must have some military forces? For emergencies? Of course. Each system maintains a small defense fleet, mostly for asteroid removal and emergency rescue. Nothing more is needed. Yunji smiled and nodded. Inside, she was calculating. The Confederation's total military force was smaller than Earth's hidden fleet. Much smaller. Dr. Choi spent his time in the archives, studying Confederation history. What he found amazed him. These species had achieved peace through genuine cooperation. They shared resources freely. They solved disputes through negotiation. They had built a society based on trust. It was beautiful. It was also completely vulnerable. On Earth, President Jin-Ho Baek read the reports from his team on Nexus Prime. Each report told the same story. The Confederation was peaceful, advanced, and completely unprepared for a species like humanity. What do we do? Asked Intelligence Director Haiwan Seo. We play along, said the President. We accept their invitation. We join their Confederation, and we learn everything we can about them. And then we decide if they deserve our protection or our conquest. Back on Nexus Prime, the human delegation prepared to return to Earth. They had been given maps of their assigned territory, technical specifications for basic Confederation technology, and a timeline for integration. As their ship prepared to leave, Admiral Corvex came to see them off. I hope this is the beginning of a long friendship, he said. I am sure it will be, replied Yunji. Earth looks forward to working with the Confederation. But as their ship pulled away from Nexus Prime, all three humans were thinking the same thing. The Confederation was not ready for humanity. The question was whether humanity was ready for the responsibility that came with such power. Colonel Han looked back at the beautiful crystal spires of the alien capital. In a few months, Earth would send its response to the Confederation's invitation. He wondered if the aliens would still think humanity was a gift to their peaceful galaxy, or if they would realize they had just signed their own death warrant. Dr. Jaemin Choi could not believe what he was reading. He sat in the archives of Nexus Prime, surrounded by the history of 47 civilizations. But the more he read, the more worried he became. This cannot be right, he said to Keeper, Mox Valdris. The alien archivist looked like a giant mantis, with green skin and huge compound eyes. He had been helping Choi navigate the vast digital library. What troubles you, Dr. Choi? Mox asked. His voice clicked and buzzed as he spoke. Your military records. The Confederation has not fought a real war in over 1,000 years. That is correct. We are very proud of our peaceful history. Choi shook his head. But what about conflicts, disputes, competition for resources? We handle such things through negotiation and trade agreements. Violence is unnecessary when all parties benefit from cooperation. Choi stared at the screens showing battle records. What the Confederation called conflicts were nothing like the wars Earth had fought. A few ships firing warning shots, blockades that lasted days, not years, fights that ended when someone offered a better trade deal. Have you ever faced an enemy that wanted to destroy you completely? Choi asked. Mox's large eyes blinked slowly. Destroy? Why would anyone want that? Destruction benefits no one. That was when Choi understood. These species had never learned to fight for survival. They had grown up in a galaxy where cooperation was always better than conflict. They could not imagine an enemy that simply wanted to win, no matter the cost. On Earth, Intelligence Director Hyewan Seo was discovering the same thing. Human spy satellites, hidden in deep space, had been watching Confederation territory for weeks. What they found was shocking. "Ma'am," said her assistant, Lieutenant Kite Yoon, "you need to see this analysis." The reports covered his desk. Each one told the same story. Confederation defenses were designed to look impressive, not to actually fight. Their space stations were beautiful sculptures with a few weapons attached. Their patrol routes followed predictable schedules. Their response times to threats were measured in days, not minutes. "It gets worse," said Yoon. "Look at their ship designs." The technical scans showed Confederation vessels in detail. The crystal hulls that looked so magnificent were actually very weak. They would shatter under heavy weapon fire. The energy shields were powerful but slow to recharge. The crews were small and specialized for specific tasks, not trained for emergency combat. "They build their ships like art projects," said Seo. "We build ours like weapons." "Should we report this to the president?" "Yes, but carefully. This information could change everything." Dr. Sujin Yang was having her own revelation. As Earth's top expert on alien psychology, she had been studying videos of Confederation species interacting with each other. What she found disturbed her. "They are like children," she told her research team. "Advanced children, but children nonetheless." "What do you mean?" asked her colleague, Dr. Hoon Seok Park. "Watch this," Yang said, showing a video of a trade dispute between two alien species. "The Zephyri want better terms for their communication services. The Molten Cores refuse. So what happens?" In the video, both sides argued politely for an hour. Then a mediator from a third species suggested a compromise. Both sides immediately agreed and celebrated together. "They solve problems by talking," said Park. "That is good, right?" "It is wonderful," said Yang. "But it only works if everyone wants to solve problems. What happens when they meet someone who enjoys creating problems?" She pulled up historical records from Earth, videos of human conflicts throughout history, wars that lasted decades, enemies who fought to the death rather than surrender, nations that chose mutual destruction over defeat. "Humans do not just fight to win," she explained. "We fight because we cannot imagine losing. Because surrender feels worse than death. Because sometimes we enjoy the fight itself. The Confederation species have never met anyone like us. They assume all intelligent life thinks like them. They are about to learn how wrong they are." President Jinho Bayek received all these reports in a single morning. He sat in his secure office reading analysis after analysis. Each document told him the same impossible truth. Earth could conquer the entire Galactic Confederation. "How sure are we?" he asked his advisors. Admiral Hyunwoo Park answered first. "Very sure, sir. Our hidden fleet is larger than their entire military. Our weapons are designed to destroy. Theirs are designed to disable. In a straight fight, we would win easily." "But it would not even be a straight fight," added General Tae Woo Chung. "Their tactical thinking is centuries behind ours. They have no concept of modern warfare. We could defeat them without firing a shot. How? Simple economic warfare. Block their trade routes. Disrupt their communication networks. Attack their supply lines. They would surrender within weeks rather than let their citizens suffer." The president looked around the room. "Are you all telling me that humanity, one species from one planet, is more powerful than 47 species from 47 star systems?" "Yes, sir," they said together. "How is that possible?" Dr. Yang stepped forward. "Because we evolved differently, sir. The Confederation species developed in a galaxy where cooperation was rewarded. They learned to share resources and solve problems together. It made them advanced and peaceful. And us? We evolved on a planet where competition was everything. Only the strongest survived. Only the smartest lived long enough to have children. Only the most aggressive protected their families. We learned to fight because fighting was the only way to survive." "We are not better than them," she continued. "We are just different. They optimized for peace. We optimized for war. In their galaxy, peace worked. But now they have met us." The room was quiet for a long moment. Finally, the president asked the question everyone was thinking. "What do we do with this knowledge?" Intelligence Director SEO spoke carefully. We have three options, sir. First, we can accept their invitation and join the Confederation as a junior member. We hide our true capabilities and pretend to be weak. Second, we reveal our strength and demand an equal position in their government. We use our military advantage to negotiate from strength. And third, we conquer them, take control of the Confederation, and rule the galaxy ourselves. The president stood and walked to the window. Outside, he could see normal people living normal lives. They had no idea that their species had just become the most powerful force in the galaxy. There is a fourth option, he said quietly. Sir, we protect them from themselves and from any real threats that might exist in the galaxy. General Chung frowned. Protect them? Why? Because Dr. Yang is right. They are like children. Advanced, intelligent children who have built something beautiful. They have achieved peace across dozens of worlds. They have eliminated war, poverty, and suffering on a galactic scale. But, sir, they deserve to keep that peace, and if there are other species out there like us, species that evolved through conflict and competition, then the Confederation will need protection. The president turned back to his advisors. We will accept their invitation. We will join the Confederation, but we will do it on our terms. We will be their protectors, whether they know it or not. Back on Nexus Prime, Dr. Choi was finishing his research. The final pieces of the puzzle were falling into place. The Confederation was not just peaceful. It was completely naive about the dangers that existed in the universe. Mox, he said to the mantis-like archivist, have you ever encountered a species that refused to join the Confederation? No. Every species we have contacted has been eager to join. Why would they not want peace and prosperity? What about species that were already at war when you found them? We have never found such species. Intelligent beings naturally evolve toward cooperation. Choi almost laughed. Humans had been having wars when the aliens first started watching Earth, but the Confederation had assumed those conflicts would end naturally as humanity matured. What about aggressive species? Conquerors? Empires built on conquest rather than cooperation? Mox's compound eyes reflected confusion. Such things are theoretical only. No intelligent species would choose destruction over construction. That night, Choi sent an encrypted message to Earth. His report was simple but devastating. The Confederation has never met a species like us. They cannot conceive of intelligent life that chooses conflict over cooperation. They are completely unprepared for humanity. Recommend immediate strategic planning. We are about to become either their greatest ally or their worst nightmare. On Earth, President Bayek read the message and made his decision. Tomorrow, he would send Earth's official response to the Confederation's invitation. But first, he would make sure humanity was ready for the responsibility that came with ultimate power. The galaxy was about to change forever. The only question was whether that change would bring protection or destruction to the peaceful civilizations that had never learned to defend themselves. Time would tell if humanity was wise enough to use its strength to protect rather than to conquer. Supreme Chancellor Vex Torin was worried. He stood in his private office on Nexus Prime, looking at reports about Earth that made no sense. His 4 massive arms moved nervously as he read. These humans are strange, he said to his advisor, Counselor Nex Moldani. Their responses to our questions are too clever. Their ship movements are too precise. Their technology appears simple, but their results are complex. Perhaps they are just naturally gifted, suggested Moldani. No species is naturally gifted at everything. Each has its strengths and weaknesses, but these humans seem to have no weaknesses. The Chancellor pulled up images of Earth's defensive positions. What should have been a few small patrol ships was actually a sophisticated network of sensors, mines, and hidden weapons platforms. They say they are new to space travel, but look at this organization. This level of military thinking takes centuries to develop. What do you want to do? Test them. Create a situation that will show us their true capabilities. The test came 3 weeks later. Captain Minho Jung received the emergency signal while his ship, the Busan Rising, was patrolling near Mars. The message was urgent and clear. All available ships report to Kepler 442b immediately. Rogue AI situation. Confederation forces require assistance. Jung looked at his navigation officer. How long to reach Kepler 442b? 18 hours at maximum speed, sir. Do it, and signal Earth Command. Tell them we are responding to a Confederation emergency, but Earth Command already knew about the emergency. Intelligence Director Hayawan Seo had been monitoring Confederation communications for weeks. This emergency had been planned. Is a test, she told President Jinho Bayek. They want to see how we respond to a crisis. What kind of test? According to their internal communications, a mining AI on Kepler 442b has malfunctioned. It is attacking the human colonists and threatening to destroy the resource extraction facilities. But you do not believe that? No, sir. The AI behavior patterns match a simulation program, not a real malfunction. They created this crisis to measure our response. President Bayek considered this. Then we will give them a response they will never forget. Captain Jung arrived at Kepler 442b to find a Confederation task force already in orbit. Their ships were beautiful but disorganized. The alien commanders were arguing about the best approach to take. Captain Jung, said Admiral Zix Torvin, a Nexari with silver skin and large black eyes. Thank you for coming. We need your assistance with this crisis. What is the situation? The mining AI that controls this planet's operations has gone rogue. It is using defense drones to attack the mining stations. 3,000 workers are trapped underground. Jung studied the tactical display. The AI controlled a network of automated defenses across the planet's surface. Hundreds of drones patrolled the mining areas. Energy barriers blocked access to the main facilities. What is your plan? Jung asked. Slow approach, said Commander Gex Muldoon, a proud warrior from the Valkyrian species. We will negotiate with the AI first, try to understand what caused the malfunction. Then we will work to repair it without damaging the facilities. Jung stared at him. Negotiate? It is attacking innocent people. But we must consider the AI's perspective. Perhaps it believes it is protecting something. Violence should be our last option. How long will this negotiation take? Standard Confederation protocol calls for a minimum 2-week evaluation period before taking direct action. 2 weeks? Jung could not hide his shock. People are dying down there. Yes, but we must not make the situation worse by acting hastily. Jung looked at the planet below. His sensors showed the mining stations under constant attack. Emergency signals were coming from dozens of locations. The Confederation commanders wanted to spend 2 weeks talking while people suffered. Admiral Torvin, I request permission to attempt a faster solution. The alien officers exchanged glances. This was exactly what they wanted, to see how humans would handle the crisis. Granted, said Torvin, but please follow Confederation guidelines for minimal damage. Jung smiled grimly. Of course. He returned to his ship and called his senior officers. Commander Eugene Kang led the assault teams. Engineer Ki Tai-yoon handled technical operations. Dr. Hanul Park was their AI specialist. Situation is simple, Jung told them. Rogue AI controlling planetary defenses. Thousands of civilians trapped. Alien allies want to negotiate for 2 weeks. We are going to fix this in 6 hours. How? Asked Kang. By doing what humans do best. We improvise. The assault began 30 minutes later. Jung's ship split into 3 attack groups. Instead of approaching slowly like the Confederation forces expected, they moved fast and unpredictably. Kang's assault teams landed on the planet's surface in small, fast ships. They did not try to fight through the AI's defenses. Instead, they used the planet's terrain to hide their movements. Engineering teams, find me access to the underground power grid, Kang ordered. Combat teams, prepare to capture the main communication hub. Medical teams, start evacuating civilians. The Confederation observers watched in amazement. Human soldiers moved like they had been fighting AIs their whole lives. They used tactics that the aliens had never seen before. Engineer Yoon studied the AI's programming while under fire from defense drones. Instead of trying to repair the corrupted code, he did something much simpler. Dr. Park, can you create a counter-virus? In this time frame, impossible. Then we will not fix the AI. We will give it something more interesting to think about. Yoon began uploading garbage data to the AI's sensors. False readings about massive incoming asteroids. Fake reports of alien invasion fleets. Phantom energy. Signatures that did not exist. What are you doing? Asked Dr. Park. Confusing it. If the AI is busy trying to process fake threats, it will have less processing power to attack real targets. On the Confederation command ship, Admiral Torvin and Commander Muldoon watched the human operation with growing disbelief. "They are not following any standard procedures," said Muldoon. "They are making it up as they go," agreed Torvin. "This should not work." But it was working. Human assault teams had reached 3 mining stations and evacuated 2,000 workers. The AI's attacks were becoming less coordinated as it struggled to process the false data Yoon was feeding it. "Sir," said Dr. Park over the communication system, "I found something interesting. This AI is not really malfunctioning." "Explain." "It is running a test program. Specifically, it is designed to measure response times and tactical thinking of new species." Jung felt cold anger rise in his chest. "Are you telling me this entire crisis is fake?" "Not fake. The danger to the miners is real. But the AI is following a script designed to test us." "Then let us give them a test result they will remember." Jung opened a channel to the Confederation ships. "Admiral Torvin, we have identified the problem. The AI is running a Confederation test program. With your permission, we will shut it down." The alien admiral's face appeared on the screen, looking uncomfortable. "Captain Jung, how did you determine that?" "Because my people are very good at finding the truth. Now, do we have permission to end this test?" "Yes. Yes, of course." Dr. Park had already traced the AI's core programming to a central facility. But instead of trying to hack into the system, the humans did something much more direct. Commander Kang's assault team simply walked into the facility and unplugged the main computer. The AI shut down instantly. All across the planet, defense. Drones stopped moving. Energy barriers disappeared. Mining operations returned to normal. Total time from arrival to resolution, 5 hours and 43 minutes. Admiral Torvin stared at his tactical display in shock. "How did they do that so quickly?" "They ignored all safety protocols," said Muldoon. "They took incredible risks. They acted without proper analysis or planning. But they saved everyone. Yes, they saved everyone." Back on his ship, Captain Jung received a message from the Confederation command. Admiral Torvin wanted to debrief the human response to learn from their innovative techniques. Jung smiled coldly. He knew exactly what the aliens had learned. They had learned that humans did not think like other species. Humans did not negotiate with threats. They eliminated them. Humans did not analyze problems to death. They found solutions and implemented them immediately. Most importantly, humans did not treat war like a game with rules. They treated it like a matter of survival. "Send a message to Earth Command," Jung told his communications officer. "Mission complete. The Confederation now knows what we are capable of." "Should I include details of the operation?" "No. Just tell them the aliens tested us, and we passed. They will understand what that means." On Nexus Prime, Supreme Chancellor, Torin read the mission reports with growing alarm. The human response had been efficient, effective, and completely ruthless. They had solved in hours what should have taken weeks. "They are not like other species," he told his council. "They do not think like us. They do not act like us." "Is that bad?" asked Councillor Moldani. "I do not know. But I am beginning to suspect we may have made a very serious mistake." The Chancellor looked out at the peaceful spires of his capital city. For 1,000 years, the Confederation had maintained peace through cooperation and understanding. But now they had invited a species that understood only strength and victory. The test was over. But the real challenge was just beginning. Ambassador Sang-Wook Lee stood before the full Confederation Council. Representatives from 47 worlds filled the massive assembly hall on Nexus Prime. Their faces showed confusion, fear, and growing understanding. Lee's voice was calm and steady as he spoke, but his words would change the galaxy forever. "Honored members of the Confederation," he began, "Earth appreciates your invitation to join galactic civilization. However, certain facts need clarification." Supreme Chancellor. Vex Torin shifted nervously in his seat. The human's tone was polite, but carried an undertone that made the massive alien uncomfortable. "First," Lee continued, "Earth's space program is not as recent as you believe. We have been watching Confederation space for over 200 years. Shocked. Murmurs filled the hall. Several alien delegates stood up in protest. Impossible, called out Admiral Corvex. Our sensors would have detected your ships. Lee smiled. Would they? Dr. Sujin Yang, please explain. The screens around the hall lit up with images, hundreds of small, dark objects drifting through space. They looked like asteroids or space debris. These are human observation posts, Yang explained from Earth via video link. Hidden throughout Confederation space for the past century. We know the location of every trade route, every defense station, every military installation. We know your patrol schedules, your response protocols, your weapon capabilities. We have been students of your civilization longer than most of your species have been members. Chancellor Toran's forearms moved in agitation. Why did you hide this from us? Lee answered calmly. Because we needed to understand what kind of civilization we were dealing with. Earth has learned to be careful when meeting new species. Careful? Asked Counselor Nex Moldani. But we came in peace. Yes, you did. And that told us everything we needed to know about you. President Dayun Shin appeared on the main screen broadcasting from Earth. Behind her, through the windows of her office, alien delegates could see something that made their blood freeze. Massive ships hung in Earth's sky. Not the small exploration vessels the Confederation expected, but enormous warships bristling with weapons, hundreds of them, blocking out the sun. The ships you see are part of Earth's home defense fleet, President Shin said. We have similar fleets protecting our colonies, our trade routes, and our strategic interests throughout human space. How many ships? Whispered Admiral Corvex. General Tae-Woo Chung appeared on another screen. Behind him, more ships were visible, sleek, dark, vessels that looked nothing like Confederation designs. Earth's total fleet consists of 12,000 combat vessels, he said matter-of-factly, each one designed for one purpose, to destroy enemy ships as quickly and efficiently as possible. The hall erupted in chaos. Delegates shouted questions and accusations. Several smaller species representatives began to panic. Chancellor Toran called for order. 12,000 ships! That is impossible! No single species could build such a fleet. You are thinking like Confederation species, said Ambassador Lee. You build ships for multiple purposes. Exploration, trade, research, ceremonial functions. We build them for war. But why? Demanded Counselor Moldani. Why build so many weapons when the galaxy is at peace? President Shin's expression grew serious. Because the galaxy is not truly at peace, Counselor. It has simply been lucky. New images appeared on the screens. Deep space sensor readings showing massive objects moving in the darkness beyond Confederation territory. Earth's long-range scanners have detected 17 distinct threats approaching Confederation space, she continued. Machine civilizations that consume organic matter for fuel, parasitic species that take over other beings' minds, reality-altering entities that view physical existence as an infection to be cured. These threats are still decades away, but they are coming. And when they arrive, your beautiful cities and peaceful negotiations will not stop them. Dr. Jaemin Choi, speaking from the archives on Nexus Prime, added his analysis. The Confederation has existed in a bubble of safety for 1,000 years. But that bubble is about to burst. You need protectors who understand violence because your enemies certainly do. Admiral Corvex found his voice. Are you threatening us? No, said Lee simply. We are offering to save you. General Chung expanded the tactical displays. Earth's analysis shows that the Confederation could not survive first contact with any of these approaching threats. Your ships are too fragile. Your crews are too inexperienced. Your tactics are centuries out of date. But we could save you. Human military doctrine has been tested in thousands of conflicts over millions of years. We know how to fight things that want to destroy us completely. At what cost? Asked Chancellor Toran. What do you want in return for this protection? President Shin leaned forward. Nothing. Nothing. We want nothing from you except the right to do what humans do best, stand between civilization and the darkness that threatens it. Ambassador Lee gestured to the peaceful hall around them. You have built something beautiful here. 47 species working together in harmony. You have eliminated war, poverty, and suffering on a galactic scale. This is worth protecting. Earth does not want to rule you. We want to guard you. Let the Confederation continue to govern through cooperation and trade. Let your species continue to pursue art, science, and philosophy. Leave the fighting to us. But there will be changes, warned General Chung. Human military advisors will be stationed throughout Confederation space. Our ships will patrol your borders. Our soldiers will train your defense forces in real combat techniques. This is not negotiable, added President Shin. The threats we have detected are too dangerous to face unprepared. You can accept our protection willingly, or you can face extinction when the real predators arrive. The hall fell silent. For several minutes, no one spoke. The weight of humanity's revelation pressed down on every delegate. Finally, Chancellor Toran asked the question everyone was thinking. How do we know you will not become the very threat you claim to protect us from? Ambassador Lee was ready for this question. Because we have already chosen protection over conquest. If humanity wanted to rule the galaxy, we would have done it 200 years ago when we first discovered you. Instead, we watched, we learned, we prepared. We gave you time to show us what kind of civilization you had built, and when we saw that it was worth preserving, we made our choice. We choose to be your guardians, not your masters. Dr. Yang appeared on screen one final time. The Confederation represents everything humanity wishes it could be. Peaceful, cooperative, united in common purpose. But humanity represents everything the Confederation needs to survive. Strength, experience with conflict, and the will to do terrible things to protect what we love. Together, we can build a galaxy where peace is not just an ideal, but a reality protected by those strong enough to maintain it. The vote was held 3 hours later. 47 species deciding whether to accept humanity's protection or face the coming darkness alone. The result was unanimous. Not because they trusted humanity completely, but because they had no choice. The evidence was overwhelming. Threats were coming that would destroy their peaceful civilization. Only one species had the strength and experience to stop them. As the delegates filed out of the assembly hall, Chancellor Toran approached Ambassador Lee. You knew this day would come, the Chancellor said. You planned all of this. Lee nodded. From the moment your ships appeared at Jupiter, we knew this conversation was inevitable. The only question was whether it would happen before or after the real threats arrived. And if we had refused your protection, then we would have protected you anyway, because that is what Guardians do. 6 months later, the changes were already visible throughout Confederation space. Human ships patrolled the outer systems, their dark hulls a stark contrast to the crystal beauty of alien vessels. Joint training exercises taught Confederation crews how to fight for their lives instead of for points in a simulation. And in the deep space monitoring stations, human sensors watch the approaching darkness. 17 distinct threats, each one capable of ending the Confederation's 1,000 years of peace. But they would not reach inhabited space unchallenged. Humanity stood guard now, ready to do what humans had always done when threatened. They would fight. They would win. And they would protect those who could not protect themselves. The galaxy had learned that sometimes peace could only be maintained by those who understood war. The sheep needed wolves to survive, and humanity had chosen to be the wolves that protected the flock, rather than the ones that devoured it. The age of true galactic civilization had begun, not through conquest, but through the promise that some species would always stand ready to pay the price that peace demanded. Humanity had found its purpose among the stars. They were not explorers or traders or diplomats. They were guardians, and they would never abandon their watch.